वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् रक्तशुक्लप्रभामिश्रम् अतर्क्यं त्रैपुरम् अहः विशुद्धिज्ञानदेहाय त्रिवेदी दिव्यचक्षुषे श्रेयः प्राप्तिनिमित्ताय नमः सोमार्धधारिणे नमो यामिनीनाथ रेखालङ्कृत कुन्तलाम् भवानीं भवसन्तापनिर्वापण सुधानदीम् अर्घ्य संस्कारः तदान सिक्स्थ सूत्र
आमा सिक्स्थ आमा
सप्तवारम् अभिमन्त्र्य तज्जल विप्रुड्भिः आत्मानं पूजोपकरणानि च सम्प्रोक्ष्य तज्जलेन पूर्वोक्तं मण्डलं परिकल्प्य तत्वत् आदिमं संयोज्य तत्र उपादिमं मध्यमं च निक्षिप्य मह्नि अर्क इन्दुकलाः अभ्यर्च्य वक्रतुण्डगायत्र्या गणानान्त्वा इत्यनया ऋचा च अभिमन्त्र्य अस्त्रादिरक्षणं कृत्वा तद्बिन्दुभिः त्रिशः शिरसि गुरुपादुकाम् आराधयेत्. I think we completed this last week. Visheshargya samskara. So the only difference between the Visheshargya samskara that we do for Maha Ganapati Krama and Sri Krama is that in Sri Krama we have to do the Chaturnavati Abhimantrana. Here there is no Chaturnavati Abhimantrana, but merely Abhimantrana using the two rigs, Gaṇanāyaka and the Ganesha Gayatri. The rest is the same. So we now move on to the Dharmashtaka. Purataha Raktachandana Nirmite Peethe Maha Ganapati Pratimayam Va Chaturasra Ashtadala Shatkona Trikona-maye Chakre A Tivrayai Jalinyai Nandayai Bhogadayai Kamarupinyai Ugrayai Tejopatyai Satyayai Vighnanashinyai Rum Dharmaya Rum Jnanaya Lum Vairagyaya Lum Aishwaryaya Rum Adharmaya Rum Ajnanaya Lum Avairagyaya Lum Anaishwaryaya Namaha Iti Peetha Shakti Dharmadhyashtakam cha Abhyarchya Moolam Uchcharya Maha Ganapatim Avahayami Ityavahya Panchadha Upacharya Dashadha Santarpya Moolena Mithunanga Brahmyadi Indradi Rupa Panchavarana Pujam Kuryat. Purataha Rakta Chandana Nirmite Peethe Maha Ganapati Pratimayam Va. Purataha, in front of the sadhaka. Now there is a question. Generally in the Sri Krama, we really don't bother to look into the direction in which Ambal is facing. Because any direction that Ambal faces, that becomes the east. Even though it is not east, but technically during the Saparya procedure, that is to be treated as the eastern direction. Okay? Because of the Tantra rule that Pujya Pujakayoho Madhye Dik Prachiriti Ridhi. So that is for the Sri Krama alone. What about Maha Ganapatyadi Krama? This rule is not applicable for the Maha Ganapati Krama. So Maha Ganapati has to face either east or north. Okay, he has to face either east or north. So Purataha, when the devata is facing east or north, sitting in front of the devata. Therefore, the upasaka will either be facing south or he will be facing the west. The one difference is between the Vaidika Panchayatana Puja and the Tantrika Saparya is, in the Vaidika Panchayatana Puja, the upasaka will not directly sit in front of the devata. He will sit only sideways. Whereas in all the Saparya, whatever be the devata, the upasaka will sit directly in front of the upasya devata. Okay, so this is one point we have to remember. So while he is sitting in front of the Maha Ganapati, Maha Ganapati is either facing east or he is facing north. Okay, so Purataha. Rakta Chandana Nirmite Peethe. Now Bhagavan is giving a specification of the wood to be used for making the Peetha of Maha Ganapati. For Shri Krama, he gives a different thing. He says Chandana Adi Nirmite Peethe. Here he says Rakta Chandana Nirmite Peethe. So the Peetha, or the base on which we either keep the Vigraha or the Yantra, Bhagavan says should be made of Rakta Chandanam. So Rakta Chandana Nirmite Peethe. Rakta Chandanam is red sandals. Okay. Maha Ganapati Pratimayam Va. Now the Upasaka has the option of either using the Pratima of Maha Ganapati. When we say Pratima of Maha Ganapati, the Dhyana of Maha Ganapati has already been told before in the context of the Chaturasra Tarpana. So the Vigraha has to be as per the Dhyana Shloka given before. So in such a Pratima, Maha Ganapati Pratimayam, because we have to remember there are many types of, or there are many forms of Ganapati, and each Ganapati has a different dhyana. Just as each Ganapati has a different dhyana, their Mula Mantra is different, their Yantra is different. Okay, so generally we shouldn't be using, let us say, a Vallabha Ganapati, or sorry, not Vallabha Ganapati. Vallabha Ganapati same as Maha Ganapati. Let us say a Bala Ganapati, okay, or now Heramba Ganapati. Okay, in that Pratima, we are not allowed to do the Maha Ganapati Krama, because we have to remember the Stula, Sukshma in the Parasharira all are same. Whereas the Stula and the Sukshma Sharira are in the form of the Vigraha and in the form of the Mantra and the Yantra. So when we are doing this Upasana, or we are doing this Saparya, there has to be a synchronization of the three. So if we are doing, let us say, Heramba Ganapati Saparya, then we have to use the Heramba Ganapati's Yantra or Heramba Ganapati's Vigraha as per the Dhyana Shloka given by Shri Guru. When it comes to Maha Ganapati, we have to use the Pratima of Maha Ganapati as per the Dhyana Shloka or the Yantra. So he says Maha Ganapati Pratimayam Va. Then he describes how is the Yantra of Maha Ganapati. Chaturasra. So there is one Chaturasra. There is a square within open dvaras. Okay. Chaturasra. Ashtadala. Then inside that there is one Ashtadala, 8 petal lotus. Ashtadala. Then within that there is a Shatkona. Okay, a hexagon. And within that there is a Trikona. Bindu is understood. Okay, Bindu is understood to be the midpoint. So Trikonamaye Chakre Va. So we can either use the Pratima or the Yantra as described here for Maha Ganapati. Then he describes the Peetha Shakti, the Adhara Shakti or the Peetha Shakti. Peetha Shaktis are those divinities who hold the Upasya Devata. When we say they are holding the Upasya Devata, they are responsible for the Upasya Devata to be firmly entrenched in the minds of the Upasaka. Basically, even though we do the Peetha Shakti Archana outside, the Devata's Nityavasa happens to be in one's own Hridaya. So, these are the Shaktis who ensure that the Upasya Devata, here is, in the case of this, it is Maha Ganapati. That Maha Ganapati is always or firmly entrenched in our own minds, always. So that we don't lose the, or we don't lose an opportunity, or we don't miss out, okay, not having the experience of Maha Ganapati in ourselves. So who are the Peetha Shaktis? Dvara. Dvara means one who is fast or quick. The Shakti who is extremely quick. Dvara. Jwalini. Jwalini. Jwala means flame. Jwalini, one who is encircled by the flames. One who has the flames. Jwalini. Nanda, one who pleases. Bhogada, one who gives the pleasures of the world. Bhogada. Kama Rupini. Kama Rupa. Kama, desired. Rupa, form. One who assumes the desired form. Kama Rupini. Ugra. Ugra is one who is extremely fierce. Okay. Tejovati, one who shines with the tapas shakti or with the tejas. Tejovati. Satya, truth. Vighnanashini, the remover of all the obstacles. So these are the Peetha Shaktis. After worship these Peetha Shaktis, how do we do it? We have to do is Tivrayai Namaha, Jwalinyai Namaha, Nandayai Namaha. Okay, all right. After that, then we have the Dharmashtaka. They are the pair: Dharma, Adharma, Jnana, Ajnana, Vairagya, Avairagya. Okay, and Aishwarya and Anaishwarya. In our Paddhati, there is nothing which is heya and nothing which is upadeya. Heya means something to be given away or given up. Upadeya means something to be taken in or something to be accepted. In our path, there is nothing which is heya and nothing which is upadeya. Upasaka has to develop that kind of chitta vritti wherein he rises above the likes and dislikes. So there is a samabhava. Okay, that is what even in Bhagavad Gita, when we say samaha, okay, samaha, or what is that samabhava? It is very easy for us to, let us say, I will not say easy, but with a little effort, it is possible that we can give up our desires or our likes. But it is extremely difficult to stand what we dislike. But you cannot develop an equanimity of mind if we say that I have no likes, but I have dislikes. So equanimity of mind comes only when we rise above the likes as well as the dislikes. So this dharmashtaka is the pair. If there is dharma, there is adharma also. If there is jnana, there is ajnana. If there is vairagya, there is avairagya. If there is aishwarya, there is anaishwarya. Everything is to be accepted wholeheartedly by the upasana. Whether it is that, in sense, does not mean you have to perform adharma or anything like that. In the path of our upasana, we will come across many occasions in the Kaula Sampradaya or in the Kaula Marga, wherein we have to be firmly, or we have to have a conviction in the path that we have undertaken. And in that, something will look to be dharmika in the eyes of the world. Many things will look adharmika in the eyes of the world. Okay? The best instance is the usage of the Prathama Dravya. Okay? Now, using the Prathama Dravya, it is very difficult for a person coming from a Vaidika mindset to even accept that Dravya as a part of any worship. Forget about a Brahmana partaking the madhu. So until we develop this mind, an equanimous mind, wherein we rise above the conceptions of dharma, dharma, etc., we are firmly following the dictates of the Shastra. We are following what our Sri Guru has taught. Then we reach a point where our mind becomes not only free from its conditioning, but it is ready, or it becomes fit to receive the expanse of knowledge. As long as the mind is conditioned, mind is shrunk, it is very difficult for any new information to fit into this mind. The mind has to be free, free from all limitations. Because until the mind cooperates fully, it is very difficult for us to progress in the path of the upasana. Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayo. That's what Gita says. So it's very important that we decondition our mind or recondition our mind. So this dharmashtaka yajanam helps us in achieving that. So we do the archana of the dharmashtaka also. Okay. Rum dharmaya, rum jnanaya, rum vairagyaya, rum aishwaryaya, rum adharmaya, rum ajnanaya, rum avairagyaya, rum anaishwaryaya namaha iti. Peetha Shakti dharmadi ashtakam cha abhyarchya. Peetha Shakti we have already said. These are the dharmashtaka. So abhyarchya, having performed the archana using pushpakshata. Moolam ucharya. So the avahana is done using the Moola mantra, because the Moola mantra is the sukshma form of the devata. So Moolam ucharya, Maha Ganapatim avahayami iti avakya. So he says we have to specifically say Maha Ganapatim avahayami, and we do the avahana. Okay, avahanadi mudras all have to be shown, and the Sapta Ganesha mudras have to be shown. All these things are not given here, but they are anukta. Therefore, it has to be taken from the other manuals, which specifically gives us that particular instructions. So after doing the avahana, Bhagavan here says Panchadaha upacharya. We have to at least perform the Panchopachara. So we can either do Panchopachara, depending on one's time and ability, we can do Shodashopachara or even Chatushashti Upachara for Maha Ganapati. Just as how we do it for Sri Krama. Okay, but at least Panchopachara is the least minimum that has to be offered. Okay. Dashadha Santarpya. We have to perform the Tarpana using the Mula Mantra 10 times. Dashadha Santarpya. So this is basically the Layanga. Okay. Then after this, Mitunas are the Shri Shripati, Girija Girijapati. Okay, they are the Mituna. Anga. Okay. And then Riddhi Amoda, they are also Mitunas. Okay. Then Anga. So the Shadangas we have to do the Hridaya Shira Shikha. Okay. Brahmyadi. So the Brahmyadi Ashtamatras. Indradi. Then Indradi Ashtadikpalakas. Pancha Avarana Pujam Kuryat. So Mituna, then Brahmi, there is Anga, Brahmyadi, Ashtamatra, Indradi, Dashadikpalaka. Fifth is Maha Ganapati himself. So Pancha Avarana Pujam Kuryat. So these are the 5 Avarana Devatas of Maha Ganapati Krama. Pancha Avarana Pujam Kuryat. Now Bhagavan is giving more specific details as to where these devatas are located in the chakra. He says, Trikone Devaha. So in the yantra, the center Trikona. So in the middle of the Trikona, Trikone, in the middle of the Trikona, Devaha. Devaha means Maha Ganapati. Siddha Lakshmi Sahita Maha Ganapati. Tasya Shadasrasya Antarale. Then between the Trikona and the Shatkona. Tasya means Trikonasya cha Shadasrasya cha Antarale. In the gap between the Trikona and the Shatkona, Shri Shripatyadi Chaturmithunani. So Shri Shripati, Girija, Girijapati, Rati, Ratipati, Mahi, Mahipati. Okay? Chaturmithunani. Angani cha. Angani, the Shadangas. Okay? Then Riddhi Amodadi Shan Mithunani. And the 6 Mithunas, okay, Riddhi Amoda, Kanti Pramoda, etc. Okay. Shan Mithunani. Then Shadasre Mithunadvayam Shadasra Ubhaya Parshvayoho Tat Sandhishu Angani Brahmyadyaha Ashtadale Chaturasra Ashtadikshu Indradyaha Pujyaha. So where should they be? Again, he gives more specification. He says, Shadasre Mithunadvayam Shadasra Ubhaya Parshvayoho Tat Sandhishu Angani. Okay, in the Shadasra, the Mithunadvaya, the 2 Mithunas. Okay, Shri Patyadi. Okay, and then the Riddhi Amoda. So those 2 Mithunas are in the Shadasra itself, in the tip and in the middle. Then Ubhaya Parshvayoho, on either side of, that is in between the gap, okay, Angani, the Shadangas, they have to be worshipped. Then in the Ashtadala comes the Brahmyadi Ashtamatra. Then in the Chaturasra, in the square, we have the Indradi Ashtadikpalaka. So Ashtadale, Brahmyadyaha Ashtadale, Chaturasra Ashtadikshu Indradyaha. Indradyaha. The Ashtadikpalaka starting from Indra. Pujyaha. They have to be thus worshipped. Sarvatra Devata Namasu Shri Purvam Padukam Ucharya Pujayami iti Ashtaksharim Yojaye. Shri Padukam Pujayami. This is called as the Ashtakshara. Shri Padukam Pujayami. 8 letters. So while doing the Tarpana, we add one more letter, or sorry, one more word, Tarpayami. Otherwise, for the Pujana, the mantra is Shri Padukam Pujayami. So let us say Maha Ganapati Shri Padukam Pujayami. Maha Ganapati Shri Padukam Tarpayami. But our Paddhati is that it is Yugapat. That we will see, that discussion will come up in the Shri Krama. Should we do one after the other? That is Pujayami first and then Tarpayami, or should it happen simultaneously? In Shri Krama, Bhagavan makes it very clear that it has to be Yugapat. It has to happen simultaneously. So if it has to happen simultaneously, you have to use both the hands. Alright? Otherwise, what will happen? First you will do Pujayami. Then if you do Tarpayami, then there is a time gap. So if you have to do Yugapat without any time gap, both your Pujayami and Tarpayami have to happen in the same time, which means you have to use both the hands together. Okay? But this mantra is called as an Ashtakshara mantra. Shri Padukam Pujayami is called as an Ashtakshara mantra. But we add Tarpayami also because we are doing the Yugapat Tarpana also. Okay? So Shri Purvam Padukam, because it's a mantra, Bhagavan cannot give the mantra directly. So he can only give some, give it indirectly. So this is Shri Purvam, preceded by Shri, Padukam Ucharya. Okay, so then you chant Paduka. So Shri Padukam, Pujayami iti. Follow it up by the word Pujayami. So Shri Padukam Pujayami iti Ashtaksharim Yojaye. So this is the Ashtakshari which has to be used for all the Tarpanas. Okay, Pujana and Tarpana. And this is common throughout. So he will not repeat this instruction in any other krama. Okay. Evam Panchavaranim Ishtva. So after we have completed the Panchavarana Puja, Panchavaranim Ishtva, Punaha Devam Gaṇanātham Dashadha Upatarpya. We have to do the Tarpana of Maha Ganapati again 10 times. Dashadha Upatarpya. So we started with Dashavara Tarpanam and we end it with Dashavara Tarpanam. So Dashadha Upatarpya. Then again, Shodashopacharaihi Upacharya. We perform the Shodashopachara Puja again. Shodashopacharaihi Upacharya. Pranava-maya ante. Sarva Vignakritbhyaha Sarva Bhutebhyaha Hum Swaha iti Trif Patitva Balindatva. So since he has already told Shodashopachara, okay, everything else is listed. Neivedya ityadi is listed there. Then Bhagavan is giving the mantra for the Balidana. So what is the Balidana mantra? He is giving here only the Sarvabhuta Bali mantra. Okay, something which is very, very essential. Otherwise, when we come to Shri Krama, okay, there are many types of Bali. Okay, but whether we are able to do all that or not, Sarvabhuta Bali has to be performed. So he is giving the mantra for offering the Sarvabhuta Bali. Sarvabhuta Bali will happen generally if we are performing Homa, Homa ante Balihi. At the end of the Homa, we have to offer the Bali. See, because Bhagavan has not given the sequence here. But later on he gives that Homante Balihi. So we have to understand that, okay, after the Dhupa, Deepa, Neivedya, okay, and the Mantra Pushpa and Namaskara, Stotra, etc. Then we have to do the Homa and Homante Bali. But Homa is Kritakritam. Kritakritam means either you can do or you can skip. Okay. Karanetu abhyudaya. If you do Homa, it is very good. But not doing Homa does not create any lopa, does not create any sense of incompleteness in the saparya. Because Homa is Krita Akritam. So if we are doing Homa, then Bali will happen after Homa. Otherwise, in that order, we have to offer the Bali. Okay. So what is the mantra? He says, Pranava, Maya, Ante. Pranava we all know, Om. Maya is Hreem. Om Hreem. Sarva Vigna Kritbhyaha. Sarva Bhutebhyaha. Hum Swaha. In Sampradaya, there is one Patkara also added. Hum Pat Swaha is also added. But the Uddara, there is no Patkara. Sarva Bhutebhyaha Hum Swaha is only given. It's not given as Hum Pat Swaha. Okay. Whereas in Sampradaya, that Patkara is also there. So, is there any Pramana for having the Patkara? At the end, there is something called Sarvasadharana Krama in the same Parashurama Kalpa Sutra. In Sarvasadharana Krama, when you say in the Bali Vidhana, okay, there is a form of the mantra, there is the Patkara is also there. Okay, so there is a Shastra Pramana for the use of Patkara. Alright. Whereas if we strictly follow the Kalpa Sutra text, there is no Pat in the Balidana mantra. Okay. Hum Swaha iti trihi pathitva. So the mantra has to be recited 3 times. Trihi pathitva. Balim dattva. One has to offer the Bali. Obviously, this is once again no Vamatala Parshnighata. Okay, Krura Drishti Avalokana, Talatraya, Narachamudra. All these things will be explained later as to how to offer the Bali in the Sri Krama. Alright. So, this is the mantra for offering the Bali. So, after offering the Bali, Ganapati Buddhya Ekam. Just as we do the Suhasini Puja in the Sri Krama and other Kramas, in Maha Ganapati Krama, we honor a Vatuka. Okay, a Brahmachari or a Vatuka, Maha Ganapati Buddhya, thinking him to be the form of Maha Ganapati himself. So Maha Ganapati Buddhya Vatukam, then Siddha Lakshmi Buddhya Ekam Shaktim. We have to call one Suvasini also. Generally, we don't do this. Okay, we will generally in the Maha Ganapati Krama, we will start with the Vatuka. We don't see the practice of a Suvasini being called, okay, and Siddha Lakshmi being invoked. Whereas Kalpa Sutra is very clear. Siddha Lakshmi Buddhya Shaktim cha Ahuya. One Suvasini has to be invited. Gandha Pushpa Akshataihi Abhyarchya. So we have to do all the upacharas for Maha Ganapati and for Siddha Lakshmi, okay, and offer them all these upacharas, Gandha, Pushpa, Akshata, Vastra, ityadi. Abhyarchya adhima-upadhima-madhyaman dattva. So in one patra, we have to offer to both Batuka as well as to the Suvasini, adhima, upadhima, madhyama. That is the first 3 of the Panchamakaras. All the 3 has to be offered in a patra. Dattva. Then the prarthana is Mama Nirvignam Mantra Siddhihi Bhuyat Iti Anugraham Karayitva. So we pray to Maha Ganapati and Siddha Lakshmi, saying that Mama Nirvignam Mantra Siddhihi Bhuyat. May my Mantra Siddhi, okay, that is my Sri Vidya Upasana, Nirvignam, let it be completed without any obstacle. We have already seen what is the ultimate goal of the Sri Vidya. It is Moksha Upaya. It's a Moksha Prapti. So, let there be no Vighna in me knowing myself. So, Mama Mantra Siddhihi Bhuyat iti. So, we have to pray. Then, the Vatuka and Suvasini, who are Maha Ganapati and Siddha Lakshmi, they will once again repeat Tava Mantra Siddhihi Nirvagnam Bhavatu. They will say that. That is why Bhagavan says, Iti Karayitva. Make them say that. Iti Karayitva Namaskritya. Okay, then we do the Sashtanga Namaskara to the Vatuka and the Shakti. Yatha Shakti Jape. Then we perform the Mula Mantra Japa. Okay, so this is the Pujanga Japa. So this Japa is called as Pujanga Japa. This is different from the Nitya Japa. So even if we are doing Nitya Puja, we have to do one Nitya Japa separately and Pujanga Japa separately. This is common for all the Kramas. So if we are doing Shri Krama, our Nitya Japa is outside, it falls outside the scope, and the Pujanga Japa is a different count by itself. Okay. So generally for Shri Krama, when we say about Laksha, 1 lakh, that 1 lakh is nothing but the Pujanga Japa. Okay. And the 9 lakhs or 15 lakhs and all those things, they are the count for the Nitya Japa. Actually, 9 lakh is in the Japa Vidhi, and the 15 and other is without the Japa Vidhi. So 3 types of Japa. Pujangam is Laksham.
Sorry,
Lavakam is in the Japa Vidhi.
9 lakhs is
Akshara Laksha Japam is the Nitya Vidhi.
Nitya, that is not Japa Vidhi, that's just plain Japa. Correct. Okay.
Yadi Agnikarya Sampattihi. If we are doing Agnikarya, that is Homa, Balehe Purvam, then the Agnikarya should be done before the Bali. Balehe Purvam. Vidhivat Samskrite Agnau Swahantaihi Shri Shripatyadhi Vignakartru Paryantaihi Mantraihi Hutva. So, he is giving the mantras to be used, not so for the Homa Prakarana, all the Avarana Devatas, no Avarana Devata Homa has to be performed. It's not just the Mula Mantra. So he says Samskrite Agnau, in the Agni, where the Agni Samskara has been done. So what is Agni Samskara? First we invoke the Agni and we do the Shodasha Samskara for the Agni. Okay. Then 15 samskaras, not 16. 15 samskaras for the Agni is done. Then in that Agni, we do a Namakarana. Okay, that is, if we are doing Maha Ganapati Krama, then we give the name for the Agni is Maha Ganapati Agni. So when we are doing this Upacharas, we will say, okay, so Agnehe Godana Karma Kalpayami Namaha. Agnehe Chuda Karma Kalpayami Namaha. Upanayana. So there when it comes to the Namakarana, we will say Asya Agnehe Maha Ganapati Agni iti Namakarana Kalpayami Namaha. After that, then Agni will become Maha Ganapati Agni. Maha Ganapati Agnehe Upanayana Karma Kalpayami. Maha Ganapati Agnehe Vivaha Karma Kalpayami. Goes on. Okay, so Vidhivat Samskrite Agnau. So Agni Samskara has to be done properly as per the Tantrika Vidhi. So Vidhivat Samskrite Agnau. Swahantaihi. So even though there is a Mula Mantra, Swahakara in Mula Mantra, while doing the ahuti, one more swahakara has to be added. So swahantaihi, having the swaha at the end. Shri Shripatyadi Vignakartru Paryantaihi Mantraihi Hutva. So, if we know, then we can use the Mula Mantra for Shri Shripati, Girija Girijapati, Vigna Amoda, etc. If we don't know the Mula Mantra, at least Namahuti has to be offered. Shripatyai Swaha, Shriyai Swaha, Shripatyai Swaha. Okay. Mantraihi Hutva. Punaha agathya. After we have performed the last ahuti, punaha agathya, devam trivaram santarpya. That is, we have offered the sampatajya. That is the last one drop of the ghee is poured onto the chakra or the bimba. That is called as sampatajya. After performing the sampatajya, trihi santarpya. We have to perform 3 times tarpana of Mula Mantra. Okay, again in the chakra. Okay, from the chakra we have invoked Maha Ganapati into the Agni. Okay, then we have performed the ahutis in the Agni. Then while during the Sampadajya, Maha Ganapati has been reunited back into the chakra or the bimba. So after reuniting, we do the Trivara Tarpana. Okay, so Trivaram Santarpya Yogyaihi Saha Mapanchakam Urarikritya. This is called as the Yogyaihi Saha, along with those who are deserving. Mapanchakam Urarikritya. The Mapanchaka or Panchamakaras have to be used. இதுதான் வந்து Samayika Puja. Okay, so Mapanchakam Urarikritya Yogyaihi Saha. If they are deserving, if he is eligible to enter into the mandala and all those things. Yogyaihi Saha Mapanchakam Urarikritya Maha Ganapatim Atmani Udvasya. Because we have invoked Maha Ganapati from oneself. So again from the chakra, Maha Ganapati comes inside. Atmani Udvasya. Siddha Sankalpaha Sukhi Virahet Iti Shivam. Siddha Sankalpaha. Whatever Sankalpa, whatever he has resolved, it will become successful if one performs the Upasana in this set manner. Siddha Sankalpaha Sukhi Virahet, and he shall be happy. Iti Shivam. So Shivam is generally Mangalam because he is ending this particular section. Iti Shivam. So this ends the Gaṇanāyaka.